When I earned my PhD from the University of Sydney in Australia, I was studying the causes and correlations between marital satisfaction and sexual satisfaction. Because people know that I've studied sex, often they'll ask me questions about sex, and sometimes just not about how to have better sex, but questions about should I have sex at all? And particularly in situations where a marriage is having difficulty. So, for example, one of the questions I'll get is this: my spouse is having an affair. He or she is involved with some other person, and yet, occasionally, my spouse wants to come home, be here with me. Things begin to get a little bit romantic, not necessarily a lot romantic, because I can tell he or she is still involved with the other person, but we wind up in bed with each other. And we make love to each other. And I'm wondering, because of the fact that my spouse is actually still continuing in an affair with the other person, should I do that? Should I make love to my spouse who's involved with another human being? Whether or not that affair is sexual or just emotional, should I be having sex with him or her? Well, let's talk about that for a couple of minutes. Hi, I'm Dr. Joe Beam with Marriage Helper, and I'm here with Kimberly Holmes, our CEO, the young lady that actually directs our entire organization. Now, Kimberly, you grew up in the home of a sexologist.
I did.
Because of the fact that, that sex has been talked about very openly all of your life. Mm-hmm. Okay. Kimberly, by the way, is also my daughter. Not everybody knows that, but she is.
Surprise.
And actually, one of the classes I was teaching at a local university on human sexuality, Kimberly was one of my students. Mm-hmm. One day when I was talking about a certain part of the female anatomy in this class on human sexuality, one of the other young ladies in the class looked at Kimberly and said, "Is this like freaking you out?" To which Kimberly replied, "At our home, this is dinner conversation."
That's right.
So we've talked about sex very openly all of your life.
Yeah.
Now, in this situation that we just described, what do you think is going through the mindset? Let's first start with a wife, and then we'll go to the husband. So here's a wife. Her husband's involved either sexually or emotionally or both with another woman out there, and still on occasion wants to be in bed with her. What kind of emotions do you think she's feeling when she realizes that he wants to go to bed with her and that she's trying to decide whether or not to do so? What do you think she, the wife, is feeling?
A complex set of emotions.
Complex in what sense?
So part of her is probably thinking, absolutely, he's wanting me. This is my chance. This is a good sign. Let's do this. While the other part of her is probably thinking, but I feel violated. You have stepped out of our marriage. I don't know if I can be open with you. I don't know if I should. And maybe another part of her is even thinking, I want to punish you. Should you even be able to have sex with me because you're doing the wrong thing right now? So it's very complicated, all the things she's feeling. And I don't know what, you might have more insight into this. I don't know if it might be a personality style or just how she feels in the moment, but which of those wins in the given moment, I'm not sure.
Well, you're right about all three of those. There's even one more, which might be, if I do make love to him, is he going to be comparing me to her? Mm-hmm. And if so, do I win or do I lose? Mm-hmm. So as you said, it's a very complex set of emotions going on here. Now, I can't help people work through all of those things unless we were having a conversation with a particular female, for example, helping her think these things through. We can't really deal with each of those except to say it's okay to have these complex emotions. Mm-hmm. Don't think there should be a clear answer just like that. Oh, this is just black or white. I either do or I don't. It's that simple. There's a whole lot more involved in it. And so part of it, and a big part of it, has to do with her emotions. Mm-hmm. So if she decides not to, what kind of things might that accomplish in terms of the relationship?
So in some sense, providing a boundary. So you can't, as we like to say, have your cake and eat it too, which I don't know how that phrase makes sense, but you can't.
I don't even know where that phrase came from, but I've heard it all my life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's a sense of, I'm drawing the line. If you end the affair, then you can come back and we will have sex. So it's giving her some sense of empowerment in a situation where she does not feel much control at all.
Mm-hmm. And that's a very good point. Because when you feel out of control, like you're doing that, I don't want you to do that, I want to save our marriage, I want you to be here with me, that sense of hopelessness, that sense of lack of control can be a big, big deal. And so you're right. Sometimes it can just be exercising control. Okay. So how do you think that affects him? Now, we're guessing.
We are.
And it can be different with different people. But what kind of things might be going through his mind if she says no?
So it could just reaffirm in his mind a story that he has about her, about the relationship. I knew she would never change. She's controlling. She doesn't care about my needs. And it could just continue to underline that with an exclamation point at the end.
Okay, so it's very possible he'll actually turn more negative toward her. There's a slight possibility, and I don't know how to measure it because it would be so different in every relationship, that it could make him realize what he's losing.
Okay.
But if she does it for that reason, I'm going to withhold sex from him so that he'll realize what he's giving up. It's a real roll of the dice.
It really is.
Because of the fact that, yeah, that may accomplish that, but actually that smacks of manipulation. Manipulation does not work in your advantage. It doesn't work in any way that's good. I sometimes run across things on the internet where people are actually teaching people how to manipulate their spouse to come back.
Yep.
And my question always is, okay, if you have to manipulate them to get them to come back, how do you keep them once they come back? Do you have to manipulate them for the rest of your lives? Manipulation is a bad thing. And so if you think I'm going to do this to make him realize this and manipulate him, if that's your motive, it's probably going to work against you. Okay, so let's change over then to the husband. His wife is involved with somebody else. She comes home. For some reason, she wants to go to bed with him, make love to him. What kind of emotions do you think the guy might be thinking? Is it going to be just like what a female would be thinking, or some differences there, in your opinion?
In my opinion, I believe for the most part, it would be the same combination of the same four in a different combination level.
So one might be less intense with the male than for a female, or more intense. Okay, go ahead.
Yes. So, and then again, this goes to what typically men and women feel and think when it comes to sex. So men are typically not as emotional about sex as women are. They tend to be more physically driven in that sense. And so for them, it may not be as much of, so it may be very much the comparison, I believe. But when it comes to, I'm going to withhold to show her what she's missing, that's probably not what he's thinking as much.
Probably not.
Or I feel violated by the fact that she's had an affair. I mean, he may, but I would sense that that's not going to be as strong.
Well, but think about it this way. Now, again, we're talking in general tendencies. Women tend to be more affected by an affair, the husband's affair, in the sense of he has created an emotional bond with another person. Men tend to be more affected by an affair, the fact that my wife's body has been given to another man. So women tend to react more to the emotional connection that occurred. Men tend to react more in the sense of, forgive the word, what belongs to me.
Territorial.
Territorial. And so sometimes it can be, well, I'm not going to make love to her because my territory has been violated. Okay? She now belongs to somebody else. In my mind, she's tainted. So I don't want to do that. Or just the opposite. I'm going to reclaim my territory. I'm going to make love to her so that she knows that she belongs to me. I know I'm making men sound terrible here, but the emotions that people feel are the emotions that people feel. And so he may want to make love to her. He may refuse to make love to her. But as with the women, it's not just a black and white decision. A lot's going on. And just as we talked about with the wives, let's talk about to the husbands. It's okay to have those mixed emotions. Most people don't have a singular pure motivation in anything they do.
Right.
Okay. Now, can there ever be a pure motivation to do something? Yeah. If you saw your son and there was a snake in the yard, you would have one pure motivation.
Right.
I'm going to rescue my son so the snake doesn't bite him.
Yeah.
But most of the other motivations we have in life are a mixture of things. And so all of these things might be going on in your mind at the same time.
So since this is so complex, there's so many different types of motivations that can be going on, how does a husband or a wife decide what to do?
Okay, I think there are a couple of things they should look at. Now, again, the emotions are still going to be confusing. But I think one thing they look at is this. What do I hope to accomplish? If I do this or don't do this, whatever decision I make, what do I hope to accomplish? And when you examine that goal, okay, so the goal might be this. Well, at least I'll let my spouse know that I still love him or her and want to be with him or her. If that's your motivation, then by making love to them, you have communicated that and you'll feel good later. If that's not your motivation, I'll change that. If that's your decision, if that's my goal, that's what I'm trying to say. If that's my goal, I just want to let him or her know that I still love them, still want to be with them. Then after it's over, you're not going to feel bad about it because you'll think I accomplished my goal. If your goal is somehow this is going to bring him or her back to me, if that's the goal you have, you're very likely going to be very frustrated. Could it be at the end of the lovemaking session, he or she looks at you and goes, my goodness, what was I thinking? I'm coming back to you. I love you. I'm ending the relationship. That's possible, but highly improbable. And so if your goal is, this is somehow going to bring him or her back, this is the thing that's going to bring him or her back to me, if that's your goal, you're probably going to feel bad about it later because you're going to feel like, was I taken advantage of? Did I get used? Because you will not accomplish the goal. If your goal is, hey, I have certain needs, and I don't want to go out there and find some stranger to have those needs with, and my husband or wife is here willing to fulfill those needs for me right now, therefore, I'm going to take advantage of this because of the fact we're still married, we're still husband and wife, even if he or she's involved with somebody else, and I'll get to fulfill some sexual, emotional needs I have that'll be fulfilled through making love to each other. If that's your goal, then you're not going to feel bad about it later because you're going to think, well, I got what I wanted to get. And so I think it comes down to what is it you're trying to accomplish? If I make love to my spouse here, and we've given 3, there could be a whole bunch of them, what do I want to accomplish? And then ask yourself the question, if I do that, hoping that is what I accomplish, that that's the goal, and then that doesn't happen, how am I going to feel?
Yeah.
Is that going to make me feel better or make me feel worse? And now if it's a goal like, well, at least I get sexual fulfillment, you'll feel okay. If the goal is, oh, at least he or she knows I love them, then you're going to feel okay. If it's like, I want to bring them back, and it didn't work, you're not going to feel okay.
So what if there's a person and they're asking this question, but it's not coming from the mindset of, I want to, should I? But it's coming more from the mindset of, I don't want to, but I might feel compelled that I should. So for an example, what if they're saying, I don't want to because I don't know who he's had sex with. I don't know what he might have gotten. But the fact that he wants to, am I losing the opportunity to save my marriage if I don't agree and do this, even though I don't want to? Should someone still go against what they don't want to do and do what their spouse wants them to do for a better chance of saving their marriage?
Okay, that's good. That's a good question. Because just a moment ago, I was talking about, okay, what's your goal if you do? Now, here's the second part of that. What's your goal if you don't? Okay, if my goal is so that I still feel that I'm in control of my life. If that's what your goal is, then by refusing to do it, you'll accomplish that. You'll feel okay about yourself. If your goal of not doing it is because I want to punish him or her, you don't know if they're going to get punished or not.
Right.
For example, they may get mad and you think, I accomplished that. Or they may go, okay. And now you walk away going, good grief, I was the one that wound up getting punished in that. Yeah. So whether it's I'm going to do it, what's my goal I'm trying to accomplish? I don't want to do it. What's my goal I'm trying to accomplish? Pick whatever, either one of those by, will I feel better about myself? Will I feel okay at least when this thing is over? Now, when it comes to speculative goals, like, this may be my only chance, I would think most of the time that still comes under what I talked about earlier, which is your goal then is I'm actually trying to use this to save my marriage. If that's your goal, and it turns out working, you'll feel good about it. But if that's your goal and it turns out not working, then you may be looking at it going, I still feel used, etc., because he or she just wanted sex. They didn't care about me. If you had the mindset of, my goal is I'm going to give it one shot, and whether it works or not, I'm okay with it. If that's the way they think about it, then okay. You're not going to feel bad. It's all a matter of analyzing. And of course, sometimes you have to do this in a split second.
Right.
Like it makes it sound like, you got a piece of paper, you're writing these things
right.
down. Pardon me just a minute, I'll be here. You're going to write all these things down. You typically don't have that. But it's very quickly, okay, how am I going to feel about this after it's over? I got what I wanted. Fine. Or I feel okay that I didn't get what I wanted because I made my mind up ahead of time. It's okay either way. And I think that's what it boils down to. What are you trying to accomplish? Make your decision on that. Then, either way, after it's done, don't start analyzing it.
Right.
Why? Why would you not start analyzing it? Why is that so important?
Well, number one, it's done. So
That's a good psychological phrase.
But the second part, so analyzing in the sense of, could I have done it better? Should I have not? So that's why I was saying, it's over. Don't stay stuck there. But then if you're going to analyze it for, he said this or she did that, what could that possibly mean? Because you're never going to know. And again, you still stay stuck in that moment, and it's not going to help you in moving forward, moving towards what you need to be doing. It's just a distraction at that time, keeping you tied to what has happened, which you can't change.
So analyzing it afterwards is just going to work against you. That's why it really should be a simple goal. I wanted to have sex because I needed it. Boom. Just let it be that.
Yeah.
Now, even if you accomplish your goal, there's one other potential downside for you. That even if it was, I just wanted to make love because I needed that, or I just wanted to communicate to him or her that I still loved them and I accomplished that, you may still feel a degree of sadness afterwards because of the fact it'll kindle memories of what used to be. Now, if you did accomplish your goal and you feel sad afterwards, embrace the sadness. Just like, okay, but at least I wasn't taken advantage of. At least I wasn't forced. At least I made my own decision and I made it with a good goal in mind and I accomplished that goal. It's okay to remember what we used to have. It's okay that I feel sad now that we don't have it right now. And don't let that mess you up where you start thinking, oh, it was bad, it was terrible. No, if you accomplished your goal, then embrace the sadness, as I just said, accept that that's part of life. And at least you got to access some of that good memory again in the process. So ultimately, the thing is, should I be making love to my spouse who has an affair? Well, we've given you some pretty good things to think about there. There's just one other, and that is this. If you are truly afraid that he or she might give you an STD, sexually transmitted disease, or something like that, then you might just for your own safety's sake say no. And the goal there would be, I just want to make sure that I stay healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. So just like a lot of what we teach, there's not a simple do this answer, but instead the better answer of think about these things and make the best choice for you and your situation.
Yeah. Some of the things I see on the internet just make me angry. Some strident, angry person saying, don't you dare make love to him or her, and here's why, boom, 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 boom. And it's like, okay, that's how they feel, that's how they think, but you're going to let them give you some hard and fast rule? People who give you hard and fast rules when it comes to relationships don't know what they're talking about.
There are no hard and fast rules.
No, relationships are fluid. But if people think in the way we're talking about now, and some of these things you might think about in advance, so it's not having to be made on the second, like if my spouse wants to make love to me, if my husband wants to make love to me. Now, just one more scenario as we end this up. If your spouse is inebriated or high, and then they want to make love to you, factor that in as part of your goal.
That's a good point.
Am I going to feel later like the only reason that happened was because of the fact that they were drunk or high? But if you think through the same process we said earlier, what does it accomplish? You can still come to the right conclusion for you, even if they're drunk or high. Just think in terms of, well, what do I want to accomplish? So, for example, if she's drunk, but I really need sexual fulfillment, and she's still my wife, at least you got that. Now, she may feel bad about it later, but you're looking at it going, but I accomplished what I went for, and I'm not going to feel bad about me. You can't worry about how the other person feels. That's within them. I'm not saying ignore them. I'm not saying force sex on them. Never do that. But I'm saying you can't make your decision based on how he or she may feel afterwards, unless you're doing something untoward, like forcing sex on them. Think about, well, I guess we've said it enough times, I'm being redundant. Hopefully, this helps you guys make a decision as to what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. And if you do, enjoy it. If you don't feel bad about it. We have a lot of resources for you right here on YouTube, youtube.com Marriage Helper, but you've already found that because you're watching this video. Be sure to check our website out at marriagehelper.com. We have a lot of resources there. And until our next video, understand that we care, and we really would love to help you think things through just send your questions to us or make comments just below. We actually have people reading those comments, looking for things that we can help you with. And so feel free to do that. As a matter of fact, we encourage you to do that so we can know better how to do more videos that are beneficial to you. Thank you.